Alright, computer art gang, here we are going into a new tutorial. Today we are going over how to use Pixlr Designer, which is another branch of Pixlr with a website, to do some basic animating. And so today we're going to be animating a message or a quote. And so you can see as I clicked the preview play button here, I've just had 3 lines of text, playing with different fonts and colors, and then adding just a basic action to those words. So in order to get started, let me toggle back out to home. Where we'll find Pixlr Designer is once we go to the Pixlr.com site, you'll see it right here, Pixlr Designer with the D logo. We will click on a Start New Empty Design here. We could call this message or quote. And I will want to make this a square. So I'm going to do 1080 by 1080 in order to make this a square sized canvas. So right now you can see your size space here is white. Something I like to do in order to start this out is change the background. So if you click on design, go to background, I'm actually going to make the background black for this so that I have a dark space behind it, and it just makes it a little easier. Makes it a little easier to identify where my background actually is, right? So now I can actually see the edge versus the white workspace. So first thing I'm going to also need is a background photo. So they do have some media in here that you can look through for background photos, but I want a specific one of Earth. So I'm just going to do a Google image search and use an image from Google Images for this. So this one will work. We're going to need to save this image. So not copying, but we are actually going to need to save the image. So I'll click Save, saving in my downloads or my documents. When I go here, I will need to go to Media and then Add Media to browse files on my computer. Click on my downloaded file and say Open, and that will bring it into my workspace here. So now I will need to take this and unlock it. It pops in unlocked, so I have to click it in order to unlock it. And now I can arrange or scale up. So let's make this big enough to fill the whole space. And then I'm going to drag into center. All right, and that works. So my next layer I want to put in is text. So we can click on here. This shows you some quick texts that they have that you can add in. You could also click on the Add New Text box here. So my quote starts with the Earth. All right, I'll click off to the side here. I can drag this up and we can change our fonts. I kind of wanted a font that was maybe all caps for this first one to make it bold, the Earth. I think this was the one that I had used. I'll scale it up a little bit, just make it fit and make it clear, legible, wide. All right, so that looks good. You got some other options in here for ways to transform your text if you want to rotate it at certain degrees, or if you want to do different styles, curves, things like that. Shadows, outlines, those are all here if you just scroll down in this text window. Okay, I can X out if I'm good with that one. If I want to click on another Add New Text here, it looked like it made my other layers invisible for some reason. I do kind of remember it happening before. But so it kind of just made a copy of my first text box. So if I double click in that now, I can change the text for this one. And this one is supposed to say without art. Again, going to edit my font. Make this one be a font that maybe is a little less bold, as it's more of like a without, so something is missing. So it's almost like something that might be a more kind of meaningful, I guess, in a way, of kind of like a font that might have a little more of like a somber tone to it. So it might be something a little rougher. This one literally is called rough, so we'll try that out. Let's make the size bigger so I can really see it. And I wanted to make this one a different color from the rest. So fill is right here. And I had gone with kind of a yellow color to make this stand out a little bit more. Now I'll need one more line of text. So if I go back to my text option here, add new text. I want to grab this one and pull this one down. And you don't have to line these up the same way I am. You could have them more staggered. You could have different sizes. You could have them go around the outside. However, what you think works for you. This is just what's going to work for my example. And this last one is going to be is just EH, period. Okay, so the earth without art is EH, or eh. And this last font, let's see, let's choose something else other than what I have already used to get a little more variety in here. Don't want to take too long picking my fonts. You could always take forever trying to pick your fonts. But for video's sake, I should probably just settle on something pretty quick here. Chuckies, there we go, that'll do it. Let's bump up the size to make this nice and clear. Oh, too big. There we go. That should do it. Move this up just a tad. All right, and there's my quote or my lyric, whatever you are working with. So now I want to add some movement or animation. So you can see there's an animation tab right down here. You could add different animation effects to the entire page. So what you can see here is I'm choosing one of these that adds an animation to this whole page, all of your layers. Or you could, if you want to really select individual layers and just do animating to each individual layer and add different types of effects, you could do these here. For this one, I'm just going to keep it simple and just animate the whole page. So looking at these, I think this was what I had used in my first example, but there's all of these are acceptable. It depends on which you think works best for kind of the tone or the message in your message. So maybe I'll go with the tumble, and you can see that it kind of tumbles in and tumbles out. And we do want this to loop when we save it. I can play my animation from the play button in the corner here. That looks good. So now let's talk about saving. So if I go to save, we do not want to use MP4. What we're going to do for this one is we're going to make it a GIF. We want to click a few options. We need to loop this animation so it plays constantly over and over. It's not going to just play once and be done. GIFs usually repeat and play over and over. Speed, I'm going to go 2x because I do want it to be a little bit faster. When I've saved some with 1x, it gets a little choppy and slow. And size is 0.5x is good. So I'm going to click Save As. We could call this quote GIF.gif, and we'll hit Save. Hopefully the working bar goes all the way across and it tells you have success. All right, so when I go to check my downloads folder, I should see that I have a file here with my animation. And there we go. The earth without art is just and it plays and loops and the speed looks good. All right, gang, that is our tutorial for our animated message. I hope you guys have fun creating your own messages.